Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and this is part 17th video in mastering Hyper-V on Windows Server. And in this video I'm going to explain you what is live migration, virtual machine live migration in a failover cluster, and how you can perform a live migration and how you can do the prerequisite settings for the live migration. So the very first question, what is live migration? So live migration allow us to move running virtual machine from one host to another host without any downtime. So let's say our virtual machine, we have a 3 node cluster and our virtual machine is running any of one node, and you want to migrate virtual machine from, let's say, Hyper-V host to Hyper-V host 2, from 1 to 2 or 3. You can do it by using live migration without having any downtime. So this is the key feature of having cluster running, and you can do the live migration, which so there are different requirements for having live migration setup, and then you can do the live migrations. So the very first thing, since I there are prerequisites for Hyper-V live migration, so I have categorized these prerequisites in five parts. So to give you idea what are the uh, basic things and prerequisites you need to have in place before planning for live migration. So the first one is hardware and software requirements. So on the hardware side, you need to make sure your CPU is compatible. So processor must be from same manufacturer. If you have a Intel, then all your recommended to have all your hosts running Intel CPU, and if you have AMD processor, it is recommended to have everything, all the physical host with the AMD. And if you don't have a same processor, basically from processor from different generation, you must enable the processor compatibility mode in VMware settings. So this is one of the hardware requirement which we need to make sure our CPU compatibility is enabled and in place. And second one is Active Directory. So both hosts must belongs to same Active Directory, and or domains that trust each other. So if the hosts are from different domain, you need to make sure the trust is created, required trust is created and in place to have a live migration done. And the next one is virtual switch name. So the virtual switch name on the destination must be exact what you have on host. So let's say on the host you have host 1, you have some uh, let's say set Hyper-V switch. So in the destination also it has to be a same switch name for the host, otherwise it will not have a migration get successfully. So on the network requirement, the first thing is basic requirement, which is network access. So network connection is required between both the host or within the cluster hosts to have uh, migration done. And a dedicated high-speed network adapter may 10G or more than 10 GB is recommended for having the live migration traffic, um, as a best practice to prevent a bottleneck in production. So let's say if you have a heavy virtual machine, let's say 16 gig of memory or more than 16 gig of memory, and you want to do a live migration on the fly, and you don't want to have any packet loss and all, then it is recommended to use 10G or more than 10G networks. And IP addressing, so it should be it is not restricted to be on same network for all the Hyper-V migration. um, uh, but if you have everything running on a same network, it will simplify the configuration. So SMB protocol is required. So if you are using SMB for storage like file server, ensure the SMB bandwidth limit feature is installed if necessary. So this is also one of the key thing which you need to make sure in place. And configuration and authentication. So the first thing here, you need to make sure your live migration is enabled. So we'll see how this needs to be enabled. So if you want to make sure incoming and outgoing going live migration is enabled, you can go on Hyper-V manager, Hyper-V setting, and under the live migration you need to enable. And this is one of the critical thing, what you want to use as a authentication protocol. So the recommended was is use Corborus for authentication, which require configuration constraint delegation in the Active Directory users and computer group. I will show you this also, how you can configure this. And while CRED SSP is the is an default and option, it require manual interaction, interactive login into the source and sources, and this is less secure. So I would not recommend CRED SSP for the production infrastructure. However, you can do it also. So recommended one is use Corborus authentication. And permission, definitely you need an administrator access on the uh, basically administrator access on the Hyper-V administrator group of the local machine. So to perform a uh, migration on the both source and destination machine. So there is a local group called Hyper-V administrator. You should be a part of that group in both source and destination host. And VM is specific, this is limited to VM. So configuration version, ensure the VM configuration version is supported by the destination. So let's say if your configuration version, if your destination host is running something newer version which does not support the VM configuration version, then it will fail the migration. And it is recommended to merge and delete checkpoint before live migration. So you can do it, but it is recommended to not do it. And pass-through disk, you cannot migrate pass-through disk which is presented to VM. They must need to be converted to virtual hard disk, VHD or VHDX before migration. So these are the some basic prerequisites which you need to have in place. And so uh, there are some confusion always in a live migration and quick migration. When you go for migration, you will see these two options, live migration and quick migration. So I want to highlight the key difference between both. So the first one is downtime, where live migration does not have any downtime or interruption. Quick migration create a pause and basically disconnect the machine for a few seconds from the network. So if you are doing a quick migration, it will you will definitely going to have a outage, or you can say disconnection for the VM for some time. um, and it can go to 15 seconds also. And the process, live migration transfers memory page while the VM is running, so everything is on live. And quick migration save the virtual machine to the disk and then move the pointers to restore the virtual machine and the new host. So this is the main difference, how the process happens. And VM state, live migration work on powered on VMs. Quick migration can move basically both powered on and power off VMs through its primary method and moving turn off the virtual machine. And requirement, live migration rely heavily on network speed for the memory transfer and CPU consent type. So live migration always migrate the live data from the whatever running on the virtual machine. So it require a high network throughput and low latency environment. And best practice, live migration is preferred to for the maintenance and balancing the load without disruption user. Quick migration is used when live migration fails on migrating the power of virtual machine. So let's say when use live migration, let's say you have a three Hyper-V host in a cluster, and let's say on a Hyper-V host 1 you see high memory utilization or CPU utilization, so you want to offload some CPU and memory compute from that host. So you can use a live migration feature to migrate the virtual machine to other host. So now this is my demo environment which I have created from last few 2-3 videos, where we are doing hands-on on the cluster environment. So I got my domain controller, storage server, and 3 Hyper-V hosts. So I'll show you. So this is my AD server, DC01, and I got my storage server, and then I got my Hyper-V host 1, Hyper-V host 2, and then Hyper-V host 3, and we already have a Hyper-V failover cluster created. So this is my cluster. So now if I go to Hyper-V, you need to see the very first thing is your uh, Hyper-V live migration is enabled or not. So you can see enable incoming and outgoing live migration is enabled, and you can specify how many uh, on the same time how many time live migration can run. So by default it is one. You can change it to as per your requirement, but you need to make sure this live migration heavily use the network traffic while doing the live migration, and this need to be validated on all three servers. So this is one thing, and next thing you need to make sure what is your protocol for the live migration is configured. So if I show you the current protocol, so just go ahead and open this thing PowerShell and run this command, get VM host select object virtual machine migration authentication type. So if you hit enter, it will show you what protocol currently is being used. So CRED SSP. So this is same thing, same way I have configured all my Hyper-V hosts. So if I go here, Hyper-V host 2, you will see the Hyper-V settings, replications. I'll change here also to number 2, and then if I show you the protocol, so you need to make sure the source and destination protocol is same. So I'll go ahead and paste the same command here, and it will show you CRED SSP, which is the default authentication type, and this is good. So on Hyper-V host 3 also we are going to verify the same thing, and I'm this account is a part of domain administrator, HV admin, so you need to make sure you have a administrator rights also. So now if I go here and open PowerShell as administrator and just go and check this, hit enter. While this is loading, we'll verify the Hyper-V. So this is CRED SSP, we are all good, and this is also enabled, live migration is also enabled, so we are good from the prerequisite side. And now I'll go ahead on my Hyper-V host 1, and under the failover cluster I'll go ahead and start the migration. So before starting the migration from the failover cluster, you need to make sure you have configured the correct network setting also. So in my environment, this is my live migration network, and if you see here live migration setting under the cluster, you will see I have tick marked only this network. So all the live migration traffic will pass through from this network. So to just validate this, I'm going to open my task manager, and from the network throughput I'm going to select my live migration NIC, and you can see there is hardly any traffic. So now if I initiate the migration, it will have some traffic. So let's do the initiate the migration. So I'll go here and click on move, and then live migrate and select node. So I'll go ahead and migrate to host number 2. So you will see here now soon this uh, traffic utilization will increase. So now you can see machine is in live migrating state, and you can see the traffic now 300 MB more than 300 Mbps is being used. So you can see the send traffic, and if I go on Hyper-V node 2, you will see the traffic is going to be received from live migration network. So just to validate this thing, I'll go ahead and open task manager on node 2, and you can see the live migration network having high traffic on the receiving side. So this is good. Now we can see Hyper-V host 1 is sending data and Hyper-V host 2 is receiving data through live migration traffic. So 66% completed. It will take few seconds, a few more seconds, or less than 1 minute to have this migration done. So what this is sending, this is sending the memory data and the uh, current state of the virtual machine from one host to another host. So this is what I was talking. In the live migration, the machine will be migrated in the running state. There will be no downtime. So now you can see the host is changed. It is migrated to host 2, and you can see the traffic for live migration is now reduced, and there is no activity on the throughput utilization on the live migration since the migration is finished. So this is how you can perform the live migration. And now I'll go ahead and do one quick migration also. So during the quick migration, as we discussed during the um, uh, this presentation, so it is VM state. So quick migration can move both powered off and power on machine, but it will basically not going to have a live migrate. So it will disconnect the sessions since it's going to save the virtual machine state to disk and then move pointer to restore the virtual machine to new host. So it is going to save the virtual machine. So we'll see. So you will have a downtime there. So if I go ahead and quick migrate and select node, and I'll go ahead and select one. So in this you will see saving virtual machine. So the virtual machine will go in save state, and then it will re-register virtual machine on the host 1. So there will be no network utilization since there is no live migration or anything happening. So you'll see now virtual machine is almost saved, 85%. So now for the this period, your virtual machine will go offline, basically while saving the virtual machine state. And once the machine is resume on the second node, your preferred node, it will go from there. So now you can see this is starting the virtual machine on Hyper-V host 1. So this is the main difference between quick migration and live migration. So if you can afford a downtime uh, and you don't want to have a live migration in place, you can use the quick migration. Otherwise, live migration is the best for production workload. So we'll wait for some more time and it will start the virtual machine successfully. So almost there. Now you can see virtual machine is getting restored here from the save state. So succeeded. Now you can see virtual machine is started, and you can see this is available on Hyper-V manager and also on the cluster. So this is how you can do a live migration in Hyper-V cluster and how you can do the quick migration also. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post me my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.